Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 716 Sports Podcast. We got a bit of a skeleton crew here today. Justin, Mike, and Steve.
You know what they say, quality over quantity.
What a fucking pitiful week for Buffalo sports. Sabres laying up just fucking eggs in Sweden. The Buffalo Bills playing like the color. The Browns, a pile of shit game in Cleveland. Let's go. So wait, what the fuck? All right, so we sit here every week. I've said dropped that bombs like 4 times already. I apologize. I don't have to be that guy. We sit here every week. You and I, Steve.
You're not supposed to keep count of that.
We sit here and defend the play calling and Brian Dable and say, you got to execute. Josh Allen's got to execute. Blah, 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 blah. Go into this game playing against the Cleveland Browns, who allow 140 yards on the ground per game, and you run the ball 13 goddamn fucking times. Devin Singletary's going for 5 yards plus per carry, and you run the ball 13 goddamn times. One design Josh Allen run, as far as I know.
The touchdown.
You run the ball 13 times against the Browns, who allow 140 yards on the ground per game, and you let Josh Allen drop back 47 times. He had 41 attempts, 7 scrambles, 1 was designed. That's 47 dropbacks to pass the ball. Like, come on. Game plan. Don't overcoach. Josh Allen is not a volume thrower. The guy shouldn't be slinging the ball 40 plus times a game. It should be 25 to 30 max. Run the ball. You tout this offense, cold weather, run the ball, and a game manager quarterback, like, do it. They weren't even down that much. The score of the game was like 9-12 almost the entire time. There's no reason to be passing the ball 47 times. There's no control the clock, control the game, run the ball with your beast rookie running back.
And you're even if Hauschka doesn't miss a 34-yard field goal.
Sorry, I think I'm done now. I said all that in like one breath.
Breathe, Justin, breathe.
Well, on the other side of it, just to be the advocate, I agree that there's certainly questions to be asked all around when your team can't hang more points than they did, but we're having a different conversation if Allen doesn't miss McKenzie on that walk-in
play
touchdown.
That bullshit game, the what-if game.
Yeah, but that's just it. Like, there are players open. The OC's job is to scheme players open and to scheme them ways to get down the field. And, I mean, it felt like they had opportunities to get down the field.
It's not about a Josh. Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so let's continue to play this little what-if game. What if you had 2 offensive tackles that could block worth of shit, and what if you had a quarterback that could make more reads than Allen is making?
I'm not even saying it's a good point. The offensive line stinks. But I'm not saying, like, what if he made this pass? What if he saw that guy? What if he could put this throw? I'm talking about the game plan. Like, this team is awful at stopping the run, the Browns. And you run the ball 13 times. Devin Singletary 8, Frank Gore 5.
But it's the classic example of, like, they think it's coming, so let's do something else. And it could be exhibited in the outside run to Gore. It was the Tolbert special. They get Gore moving.
Yeah, what the hell was
on
that?
A sweep to the left, and I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this doesn't even make sense.
Gore looked all his 36 years old on that run, too.
He got, like, 2 yards, but it's just like, what are we doing? Like, why is this the plan? Like, what kind of genius idea is this going to... I don't know.
And some of the things they do usually do at least once or twice a game. Hand off to what's that little guy?
McKenzie,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Hand off to McKenzie. Where was that? Where was something gimmicky like a handoff to McKenzie or Knox, or where were attempted screens even? If you wanted to get the ball to Singletary in space, why not involve him in the screen game? Why was nothing like that even part of the game plan? So even if you're throwing 40 times, screen passes are basically just an extended handoff.
Sure.
And it's shit. Talk about screen passes. You're playing against Myles Garrett and a struggling Deion Dawkins. I had a brain fart there for a second. You know how you slow that guy down? A couple screen passes. Right at Myles Garrett. Like, oh, they didn't even see it. You didn't even see any of those. I'm not a football coach. Played some when I was in high school, but like, it's just common sense stuff. I think this team likes to overcoach themselves. I don't know.
I've for the most part, I haven't had a problem with the way Dable has called offensive games, but this one is just befuddling and head scratching. But it doesn't help when the team's not executing either.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's so much blame to go around, which just proves what a terrible game it was, because if Hauschka makes the kicks, if, the drops aren't there, I know that the Dawson Knox throw wasn't a great throw, but it was a good back shoulder throw that he got 2 hands on. And then right after, we said it before, like on the Beasley pick in the early season when the throw was low and Beasley couldn't corral it, John Brown did the same thing. Like, that ball was low and it was behind him, but you'd like to see a catch made. And yeah, you'd like to see it delivered better as well. But there's just so much blame to go around. If the defense doesn't shit the bed and give up, what was it, an 86-yard drive for the Browns to take the lead? They just, and I'm not looking to blame the defense, but nothing came through for them.
You know what's sad? You know what's really, truly pathetic? I was thinking about it today. People have said, if the defense holds teams to under 20, they should win games. And so far, if they've held them to 20, wouldn't this be an 8-1 team holding teams to under 20?
New England.
They would win New England. They would have still lost Philly. They would have won this game.
The team is constantly 1 score away from winning every game.
I mean, to me, this is an indictment of the offense. This is, and a lot of it is execution. You have no blocking up from your tackles. I wonder if that's part of the problem with Dable going away from the running game is he doesn't have any confidence to go off tackle.
That's all they run Singletary, though, is off tackle. I don't think that's the case.
But Singletary will make you miss in a phone booth, and at some point you have to. I don't know. I think he's, like I said, I think he's just out coaching. They're out coaching themselves. You think they're going to get it? The Browns would think they're going to get into a tendency, so let's try to beat that tendency, and instead of doing what you're good at.
The final sequence, they outcoached themselves. Like, they switched over. They were, you can bitch about them not running the ball. They were gashing them through the air. These are 15 and 20-yard completions. I think that the Browns were in cover 3 or cover 2, and they were just settling down between the zones, right, and they were gashing them down the field. And then all of a sudden, they run the ball with Singletary or dump it off to him, and he gets tackled. They let 25 seconds run off the clock, and I said to my wife, I'm like, they are going to run this clock down, take their last timeout, and let Hauschka kick this from 52 yards. And, like,
in bad weather. In what weather?
You talk about you talk about the coaching question. Like, just try to score. Like, even if you settle for 3 if you can't get 7. They settled for 3 while 7 was absolutely still on the table.
And if you don't get 7, at least get aggressive to get closer for that attempt at 3 to be much easier. I mean, that's just bad. That's just bad right there. Saying, okay, we'll settle for a 50+ yard field goal attempt. I mean,
they didn't have to.
This isn't what New Orleans and Houston. What was it, week 1 or 2 or something, where Lutz kicked a 58-yarder
to win it.
And this isn't one of those situations where New Orleans did what they could to get as much as they could out of it. This was a situation where you left yardage on the field,
and maybe 7 points and maybe a win on the field too.
Right.
They had 50 seconds to go at that point with the timeout.
But then again, it's also like that 3rd and 3, I think in the third quarter, where they're going deep for Beasley.
Yeah.
I mean,
in double coverage, no less.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a situation where you need to get somebody short open at the sticks.
At the same time, the quarterback is also making the call to make that throw in double coverage to Cole Beasley on 3rd down. At the same time.
And he looks to the sideline like, I can't believe that missed. He looks like his face is like dumbfounded.
The throw in the last play of the drive, the last drive of the game to Brown, not the last play, but that was like a spacing play to get Beasley open. Beasley was wide open, and
Garrett defends that pass if
Allen
he throws it.
Allen actually makes the right read. It's cover 0. It's a man coverage, and you got John Brown, but you need 5 yards to get Hauschka in his range, and you're like you tried Josh Allen here ball going for to get the first down, take what the defense gives you. It's always his issue. And hit a deep ball all year. He's gonna hit that fucking deep ball. He wants to do it.
Yep.
Was even a good throw?
I mean,
it wasn't a good throw.
That play near the end of the game, if Dawkins doesn't whiff, he may have a chance at hitting Beasley for the first
he may have
down.
had a chance to look left. He didn't have time.
But he also had Garrett right in his face that if he turned and tried to throw left, that ball was coming right back at him real quick.
I don't even blame Josh Allen for this game like we've been doing.
No.
Like he had a lot of drops.
His good throws were good. Like he was, and I did hear people say, which is true, he's making throws NFL quarterbacks are supposed to make, which is right. But that's an improvement. Like you watched how many throws yesterday were to receivers who weren't moving. They would go and settle down between the zones and stop. But he would throw a dart over 3 linemen, between 2 linebackers, and in front of a safety. And he did it probably 5 times. And it was good to see the arm strength pay off because those were laser beams into these windows that weren't really there. It was good to see.
You see some of those throws here and there, but you got to see more.
Sure.
You know? And but the big drops, a couple, 1 or 2 from Brown.
Andre Roberts had that bad drop.
I was going to go there next. Andre Roberts that was a nice throw, big drop. He did also miss John Brown wide open on fourth down. Brown was pissed.
Yeah, he jumped up and down 3 times. That was the play that technically Brown dropped it, but the throw was behind him. And I don't know if he was jumping because he's mad that he dropped it or he wanted a better throw. But
he was probably wanting a better throw.
Yeah.
I forgot.
How nervous are you guys about Hauschka? Because it seems like this dude...
He's not a long kicker.
But he hasn't made a field goal in the last 10 seconds of a half yet this year either. Like the New England game, that wasn't a long kick. It was 40-something, and he shanked it. And a 34-yarder yesterday looked awful. Like they just paid this man, and 34-yarders should be a gimme.
34 yards, I used to be able to make from 34 yards.
I've made a 45-yard field goal
kicker
on Grand Island, and I'm not shitting you. It probably took me 30 tries.
It's hard.
It's hard because you either hit it long enough and not straight enough, or you hit it straight and it rolls 3 feet in front of you because you're just trying to blast this thing into oblivion and you miss.
After the game, I was thinking, what happened to this league and kickers?
Right.
Kickers used to be almost...
They're all rattled by the extra point now, and I love it.
Kickers used to be almost automatic from almost anywhere except for like long distances.
Yeah, 45 plus, but...
It used to be automatic every time from everyone. And now you can't find a guy to make a contact back.
Nope. Yep, it's crazy.
I'm a little hot today. I've sworn like 12 times already.
We all are. It's a bummer of a time.
Well, the Browns kicker missed an extra point. Well, granted, that was from 48 because Landry's an idiot.
Conduct, yeah,
you guys missing the chip shot extra point, missing 34-yarders. It's crazy. You can't find a good kicker anywhere in the league anywhere. It seems
Justin Tucker. That might be it. The list might stop at Justin Tucker.
You have once year one job, which is what you do in practice nonstop.
That is literally all you do in practice. If you're a kicker at any level above high school, that is literally all you do is kick and sit and watch practice.
What a job.
And kick.
What a job. Imagine making league minimum being a kicker in the NFL. That's a great job.
If I could kick well enough to make league minimum just for kicking a ball, sign me up.
I'll be the 6th string wide receiver that never sees the field. Sign me up. I don't care. Want to play a game?
Let's play a game.
Is Josh Allen better than?
Okay.
So we're not going to go through the quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe that's next time, right? That'd be fun. It's also 31, which is a lot. So we're going to go through the Bills quarterback since Kelly. And you guys can tell me if he's better than these quarterbacks. So the first one, we can't take too long on them unless you really want to elaborate. Like some of them, I have a feeling like Tyrod we're going to elaborate on. But first one, Todd Collins.
I don't really remember that far back to answer this.
That's what, 97, right?
Correct. Very good. On the nose. Yeah, Collins. He had a long career after Buffalo, too. The guy was playing for the Bears on Monday Night Football in like 2012 or something ridiculous, right?
I mean, he was, as I recall, he was serviceable.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
I would say he was maybe mediocre.
So is Josh Allen better than Todd Collins? You have to answer it, Mike, because you remember him.
I barely remember him.
I say no.
I would say no.
So Todd Collins was better than Josh Allen?
No.
The other way.
Other way. Yeah.
Josh Allen is better than Todd Collins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Josh Allen better than Doug Flutie?
No.
No.
I think Flutie was better as well.
I think if Josh Allen were to compare the two, because a lot of similarities in their game, Flutie would be a lot better all around. But I think part of that has to do with his experience and all that.
Flutie had some nice receivers too.
Yes.
Rob Johnson. Who's better, Allen or Rob Johnson?
Rob Johnson was also 99 2000.
Yes, we're in the
He
year
was-
Take
2000.
Allen.
I think
I
so
would
too.
take Allen,
Me
yeah.
too. Alex
Allen should have never played in that playoff game against Tennessee.
Yeah, Alex Van Pelt.
No.
No,
No.
Allen was better than him.
Allen's
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one because I think that this goes the other way. Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe's better than Josh Allen.
Drew Bledsoe
Even-
threw for like
even-
5,000 yards.
Even at the end of his career, I would say Bledsoe's better.
yeah,
than
and
Allen.
Bledsoe also had 100 completions to Molds and 97 to Peerless Price in the same year.
Josh Allen. Drew Bledsoe's always better than Josh Allen. I would take him off the vineyard tomorrow and put him on the field.
You just got to protect him, right? If you give him 2 seconds to throw the ball, carve you up. JP Lossman.
Ooh.
No.
Allen.
Allen is better than
Allen
JP.
is
I gotta get this all reversed. Sorry.
I always felt like Lossman was victimized. I think we talked about this at the Buttes game.
Was in a
He
very
comes
bad
out of a
spot.
spread offense, right, where he throws out of Tulane, right, and he throws deep to 4 wide receivers, and he comes to Buffalo, and they immediately implement the West Coast offense on him. And I feel like he was kind of victimized by that. Trent Edwards. This is interesting because Trent Edwards, before and after the injury, I would go with Edwards before the injury might have been better than Allen.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
and then after the injury, Allen's better than him.
I think
Yeah.
Edwards would manage games for you and put the ball in the end zone.
Exactly.
Edwards threw some deep balls though. He was hitting
Edwards
T.O.
was-
and Lee Evans. and
Pre-concussion, Edwards was
Yeah.
not bad.
here you go, Fitzy.
I take Fitzy over Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Close, but hate to say, but I would.
I think so. Like he's more of a gunslinger than Allen, but the dude has thrown for 400 yards as recently as like last season.
He's a
right?
gunslinger minus the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he can complete the
And he
deep
plays
ball.
he plays a position.
He
very-
found. Why am I drawing a blank? The burner that now plays for Philly again. Why am I being
Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun Jackson several times.
Fitzy can
last
put
year.
points on the board. He's done it in the past.
The 98 yard pass to T.O. was
multiple
Fitzy.
400-yard games.
Uh-huh.
The guy is a baller, just like Josh Allen.
Yep.
Will put a shoulder anybody in the league.
Yep.
Well,
He doesn't slide.
for me, it's he would be good for about 6 to 8 games a year.
Sure.
That's the only
he'd be
caveat.
the
is
reason you-
he's great for that 6 to 8 games, but he is god awful.
Yeah,
for the
he's
other
the reason
10,
he's
8
the
to
reason
10.
you win 3 games a year. He's the reason you lose 3 games a year, and the other 10 flip a coin.
We
Like,
won yesterday with Ryan Fitzpatrick playing.
I think that's right. EJ Manuel.
Oof.
No. Josh Allen.
I mean, EJ Manuel had some highlights. I mean, that Carolina game, but
He beat Brady in New England. Give him that. Right?
But
did.
it's overall Allen would be better than.
Here's an
Manuel.
interesting one. I'm skipping some guys like Jeff Toole and Thad Lewis. Those guys don't count. Here's an
One or
interesting
two
one.
offs.
Kyle Orton.
yes.
Allen is better than Kyle Orton.
No.
No,
Because you're just saying yes to all of them.
I'm sorry.
Orton is definitely better than, even not seemingly fully mentally into it and coming in late. I'd say he was better than Allen is.
Kyle Orton's better than Josh Allen.
I would say Kyle Orton wins this game yesterday.
To be fair, Josh Allen has more talent than all these guys.
I agree.
He just
a higher ceiling.
He
than
just
all of
can't
them.
utilize it as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Yet, in theory. I mean, they're not.
Before-
They're going to give him some time.
People listening right now are just like, you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah. Here we go. We're there. Tyrod.
It's just hard.
I have an interesting
think-
theory about this, but I'll let you guys go first.
I think talent-wise and ability-wise, Tyrod is better than Allen. I think both Allen and Tyrod suffered from the same issue, though, in their time here, is that when they got the offense moving, they could move the offense, but they both have a tendency to largely stall out and make a lot of plays that leave you scratching your head.
This is tough, man.
It is.
I think this offense is better with Tyrod Taylor, though. He's a better passer than Josh Allen, and he's better at the position than Josh Allen. It's tough. It's funny because I was always on we need a franchise quarterback train, and Tyrod's probably not it. But I think I would take Tyrod on this offense with Tyrod. I think is able to put 3 touches on the board often.
So here's my theory. We went to training camp the year that Tyrod was competing with Castle, and you know, my wife isn't a huge sports fan, but she follows it closely enough. And we went to camp. I'm like, this is the guy. Like, we want him to be it. And we're watching him drop dimes, and he did look really good in training camp at St. John Fisher. And then there's that first game against the Colts, and he throws that dime to Percy Harvin.
And that was what, 2015?
First year, so don't ask hard questions.
First game of the year,
2015.
Yeah,
and at that point, it's like, oh my goodness, like this dude can chuck the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he regressed as a passer because we saw 150-yard games out of him every week. And I know Allen's doing the same thing. So let me finish my point. I thought Tyrod was going to be a great passer, and he wasn't. And I thought he regressed. He got worse as a passer. He's missing wide open guys, and I know Allen does too. I was at games against Pittsburgh with Charles Clay standing between the hash marks, looking like he was trying to catch the attention of a helicopter because he is that wide open and the ball never got delivered to him. The difference is Josh Allen last year could not complete a slant or an intermediate route to save his soul. And he does it, I won't say regularly now, but he hits them. And I feel like he's trended, like he took a step up. He went from not being able to hit a timing route or an intermediate route, and he took a step up, and now he can. And he did it probably a dozen times yesterday that he was on time delivering a strike 15 yards downfield. How many times on 3rd and 13 under Tyrod Taylor did this team automatically punt? How many 3rd and longs does this team convert with Allen because he throws the ball 20 yards through the right? 3rd and 13 yesterday converted. 3rd and 18 converted. And how many times this year has he thrown to John Brown for 21 yards on 3rd and 17? Tyrod never did that. So I feel like Tyrod started out with high hopes and regressed. Allen still has to take 3 more steps up, but I think he has taken at least 1 step up. The other thing, what were we lynching Allen for the first 4 games of the season? Why were we pissed at him?
Because he kept trying to piss away games, making stupid mistakes.
Throwing the prayers up and getting picked off.
Yeah.
What's he doing now?
Not doing that.
Throwing it away, dirting it, right? How many times on a busted screenplay does he dirt it? How many times do we...
Right at the running back's feet.
Yes. And I'm not saying he's throwing the ball well, but he hasn't thrown a pick in how many games? He's still fumbling the hell out of the ball.
4.
But we have seen... just this season, improvement from him throwing stupid balls where Brian Daboll's on the sideline reaming him out. He's not doing it. Mm-hmm. He's got to take 3 more steps up. Don't get me wrong.
I think the offense is more consistent with Tyrod.
Sure,
in a sense.
The team is punting less than they did with Tyrod.
I think
the team is punting way less than they did with Tyrod.
I think Josh Allen had a better talent to throw the ball, to spread the ball around to than Tyrod ever did. I mean, Tyrod had Taylor Watkins, who was always hurt all the time. And also
Robert Woods,
and also misused for the most part. But also, I think they're both of them are still pretty misused. Like Josh Allen is not a volume thrower. He should never be dropping back to pass the ball 45 times a game. He should not. He never. He's not the kind of quarterback he is.
Does it feel like he's trending up? He's at a plateau. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen is on a plateau right now, but I would say he's better than he was at the start of the year, and he's better than he was last year. Am I wrong?
I'll take that. Yeah, for sure.
But he's still not where...
No, not even close to where he needs to be.
Not even a mid 10 to 15 NFL quarterback.
He's worse than that. I agree.
I'm not even saying top 10. I'm saying your middle group of 10 to 15.
That's why, obviously, like there are people ready to give up on him. There's been, I don't remember who wrote a story saying his time's up. I'm like, that's preposterous. Like, I'm not ready to move on from this guy yet, but I'm not saying he's there or will get there, but in my mind, and most of you who have ever listened to this show for a long time know that I did not like Tyrod. By year 3, I was done with him. I feel like he regressed. I feel like the number of 3 and outs and the number of punts under Tyrod were absurd. The Bills don't go 3 and out very often at all with Josh Allen. They don't.
See, that's like what I was saying earlier. I think that Josh Allen, I think that both of them, when they move the ball, they move the ball. But I think Tyrod had more of a tendency, like you said, for 3 and outs. But I think both of them, they just kind of stall during games. Just inexplicably, they will just stall. And Tyrod, the New York game that everybody talks about, where Greg Roman got canned after that.
Even though that wasn't his fault.
That offense was not doing anything, quick score. Not doing anything, quick score. He basically got canned, and everybody's saying, no, that was the wrong move, but he got canned because it wasn't any consistency on offense. They basically put the game on the defense by really, it was just quick turnarounds. Defense didn't have any chance to adjust. Was it Monday or Thursday? Doesn't matter.
Thursday night.
But you know what game I'm
talking about. I was at a
rehearsal
dinner for a wedding, so Thursday night.
that was the whole thing, though, is even if you're scoring a whole ton, if you're doing it so quickly, you can't adjust on either side of the ball. It really doesn't matter that you're scoring a lot because you're still not doing your team. You're not doing anything if you're losing time of possession battles like that. Because contrary to what a lot of people think, time of possession actually does matter.
Matters. Yeah, big time.
And I believe they lost the time of possession battle that game because they were not driving. They were just doing long play, big play, something like that. And it wasn't sustained 5, 6, 8 minute, any sustained drives. I think there may have been 1 or 2, but they scored like 34 points.
And you talk about the drive stalling, right? The offense stalling. Yesterday, the Bills stalled out at the plus 40. Right? Like twice they went for it on 4th and 3 from like the 35, which I agree with because you're not going to have Hauschka hit a 55-yarder. And please do not bring Corey Bojorquez out to punt from the 38-yard line. So
they went for that's no man's land. You go for it.
Absolutely no. I said yesterday, no one on offense made a play. No one on offense made a play. There was no one, whether it was Allen or even, remember that one ball that Singletary caught in the flat with 1 to beat and he ended up going out of bounds, which was smart because he stopped the clock. I would have loved for him to beat that corner. And get upfield.
Get a few more yards out of it.
And like just nobody made a play. And that's what I mean. Like there's so much blame to go around.
Nobody stepped up and said, put this game on my back.
They were throwing the ball to Andre Roberts way too often and he was not making plays on the ball. John Brown was making nice catches and played well, but when it came down to it, he didn't make a big play on that last drive like number 1 receivers do. I don't know. Dawson Knox had a chance to make a big play down the sideline. He had a nice game. Like when the game was on the line, no one made a play. And the game was on the line for Cleveland.
Grabbed it.
When the game was on the line for Cleveland, Baker stepped up. I thought he really had a nice drive on that last drive for Cleveland.
And that's one of the things, too, is, and I think we were talking about this last week, is Cleveland has a lot of talent on their team. You can't deny that Beckham, Landry, Hunt, and Chubb are all great offensive players. You cannot deny that their offense should be a lot better than it is, and Mayfield's basically been the weak point of that offense, and he got it together yesterday. He really got it together more than he has.
Listen,
and you still held that group of 5 players, 5 top-notch players, to 19 points.
Yeah,
you should be winning that game.
Baker did gift one. Trey dropped it. The play that Poyer hit Trey, that ball was out before Poyer ever hit him.
Yeah.
And
true.
Trey just laid on the ground. And, you have the Hughes play, right? And we're doing the what if game, Justin. You can yell at us. The Hughes play.
That was a forward pass.
Yeah, it was. I'm not mad about the call at all. 0% mad. Not even a little bit mad. But good grief. Like, the game was there. The game was there when that happened. The game was there on the Trey White interception. The game was there. They had so many opportunities to grab the game.
Most ridiculous take I saw on that Hughes play. Somebody thought Mayfield should have been flagged, and Cleveland should have lost it down
for intentional grounding because the receiver was gone. I saw that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, somebody on Twitter. It's like
dumb.
I mean,
because the Kareem Hunt was by him by that point. What are we doing?
It was like he was maybe 1-2 steps by him. It's not like he just threw it into the ground.
Or like went through his elbow keyhole. Like it went through his arm. Like it wasn't a. I don't know.
Well, we're just grasping at things to.
The Bills are we're almost always down by just a field goal, and winning at a point.
Yes, they were up 9-7.
Are they passing the ball like they're down 3 scores?
Because Josh Allen is really good. That's why.
Why?
He's the secret weapon.
Like, come on. I don't know. It's just that's what pisses me off the most about this game. We sit here defending.
Okay,
and they're not screen passes or quick slants. They're downfield shots that are just not there. I'm agreeing with you. Like
we're looking on your really nice big TV screen here. Singletary, 8 carries, 42 yards. That is about
5.3.
It is 5.3, about 5.3 yards per carry, 5.25 yards per carry. Why are you not riding that?
I think they did in their defense, and I'm not just being the advocate. I think they threw him the ball 7 times too. So 15 touches. You still want him to get fed more, but I think he got 7
3 times.
How many times?
Well,
targeted 7.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep. I see that over there.
So they tried. I mean,
but
I'm not saying I'm not defending him.
They're allowing 140 yards on the ground. Run the ball.
Yeah, but they're expecting you to run it. So I'm kidding. That's me being totally.
And your tackles.
I was about to come at you hard there.
I guess because your tackles still suck. But Singletary was getting 5 yards per carry. So I mean,
Whatever.
Make do with what's working until it doesn't work anymore.
They got the Dolphins next week. They struggled to beat the Dolphins last time.
The Dolphins have a couple wins now.
Flores has got the
2 in a row.
Kind of going right now. I don't know. They just beat the Colts. The Colts just beat the Chiefs. Not just, but they beat the Chiefs. You know, the Colts are not a bad team, and the Dolphins just beat them. Fitz is not playing horribly.
Hoyer wasn't good yesterday for the Colts. Brissett wins that game for them. I watched it. Well, I red zoned it, but
I didn't realize Hoyer was even playing. So
yeah, Brissett's hurt. He has the MCL, not an ACL tear or anything, but just a knee injury that isn't severe. But
it changes things. Do you think the Bills struggle with this game?
Yeah, of course. They're going to struggle every game. They're going to struggle every game. They're never going to go away and beat someone going away. Even the Giants, they didn't hang up. They cruised in the first half, but they didn't hang up 50 points on them. They're going to struggle every game
until that offense shows up. It's going to be a struggle until that offense shows up.
Did we have the Bills beating the Browns in our road to the playoffs here? Because it made it a little bit harder.
I didn't have them. Well, the Colts losing was huge, so there's still a full game up in the wild card. The Bills, but
half game.
I picked.
No, wait.
It's a full because the Colts lost. Yeah, I picked Cleveland to win this game 20-13. There's a local establishment that was offering a gift card if you pick the right score, and I picked the Browns to beat the Bills 20-13. Humble brag there. Didn't get it right, but I was close. But yeah, we'll find out if it ends up mattering or not, right? Because
I think the Bills need to win these next 2 games going into Thanksgiving.
Yes, no question.
That could be a bloodbath. I think it could be a bloodbath on national TV on Thanksgiving Day. Because Ezekiel Elliott and that offensive line, that could be a long day for the Bills' defense.
Unless they somehow figure out their form from early in the season. That Thanksgiving game is going to be a disaster. Unless they figure out their form from early in the season.
It's just a weekend at Bernie, Harrison Phillips. Just prop him up out there.
just take up space.
He is the only main difference between when they were doing well and now.
It is what the statistics say.
But that 4-week stretch starting with Dallas and ending with New England is going to be a stretch where the Bills can realistically expect to go 0-4 and it not be a shock at all.
You know, we saw this. This Ravens game we saw as a good game. This is going to be a good measuring stick game. This could be a big battle. I think the
Baltimore right now is the team in the AFC.
Baltimore is buzzing right now. Lamar Jackson, the worst of these first round quarterbacks, is by far and away the best quarterback from that draft right now. It's not even close.
And it's not even like he's just doing it with his legs. That dude can throw the ball.
He's slinging it. And
I've not bad for a running back.
Yeah, I saw a few games. Not full games, but I saw parts of a few games where when he was playing with Louisville. He's making it look like he's out there playing with Louisville.
It's Louisville.
I don't give a fuck.
There's like 13 ways to pronounce it. Yeah,
it's Louisville.
If you go to the airport, it'll show you all the pronunciations.
Louisville.
I'd rather say Louisville than Louisville.
Louisville. I say Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
I'm with you, Mike. Louisville. I'm with you.
I used to live an hour away from Louisville. As an
northeastern Kentucky.
As an Eric Wood supporters, we all need to say Louisville. Louisville. I just said Louisville. Nice. All right. So we're not even going to preview the Dolphins game because the Dolphins stink. The Bills kind of stink right now. Prediction? And then we'll go on to Sabres.
Prediction, if the Bills lose this game, they're done for the season.
Score prediction. Give me deep thought.
No, I'm ready.
That's my
27-17 Bills. They bounce back.
27.
They've shown the ability to adjust at halftime. They've shown the ability to make adjustments, and I think that they're going to pick off Fitz a few times. I think that the Dolphins are going to come crashing back down to earth. I think the Bills finally get a defensive score. I think a pick six is in the works. They haven't had one other than the Hyde one on the...
they technically had a safe defensive score yesterday with that safety.
With the safety. But I'm predicting like a pick six or a fumble recovery for 6. I think the Bills have Fitzpatrick's number going back to when he played for the Jets and the bevy of other teams. But I think the Bills have a nice bounce back win. A good, I'm not going to say they coast, but they're going to have a good win on Sunday.
24-13, Bills.
I got the Bills by 2 scores. I don't have a score, but
By 2 safeties. The Bills by 4 points. You heard it from Justin first.
the Bills' biggest issue lately has been the run game, and I don't think the Dolphins have good enough running back, like a guy that's going to gouge the Bills.
Balage, right? Balage, because Kenyon Drake's gone.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's in Arizona. No,
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's in Arizona. He had a great week last week on Thursday night. They traded him, so it's Balage now, and he's not very good.
The Bills by 2 TDs, not 2 scores, 2 TDs.
Touchdowns.
All right.
Well, technically 3 points could be 2 scores because it's an extra point and a safety.
The way extra points go now, shoot.
Yup.
Is there any more football on your mind? You got to get off the old chest.
If they miss the playoffs, I'm not saying that it matters because they're not going to the Super Bowl. If they miss the playoffs, oh boy,
What are you going to do?
don't know. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? It's not even about me. The city is going to. There might be a parade if they miss the playoffs, but it's going to be a march. It's going to be a march on one Bills drive.
If they miss the playoffs, does Dermott keep his job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not the defense that would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
It's the lack of offense.
Yeah,
Do you think they fire Dable?
No.
I think he's got to see the season.
he would be the fall guy. Whether they should or not, Dable would be the fall guy.
Mm-hmm. Remember when they were hiring an OC, nobody wanted the job. Remember how long it took him to hire Dable?
Hey, you guys are talking about Baltimore. Who's their offensive coordinator?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, what a scrub he is. That guy can't score points.
How many ex-Bills coordinators are still coordinating right now?
Jim Schwartz, who's a head coach, he was a defensive coach, but he was a head coach and now is with Philly, won a Super Bowl.
What's Malarkey doing these days?
A whole lot of malarkey.
I was waiting for that one.
Can't forget Doug Marrone,
Jacksonville.
head coach extraordinaire. Anyways, Chad Gailey. Chad Gailey, OC somewhere?
I don't
He
think
was.
so.
He was with the Jets recently, was he not?
That's a few years ago.
Yeah,
2 years
that's
ago,
a
I
few
think.
years ago.
Yeah, whatever.
Is Greg still
Did you see
coaching?
Sam Darnold?
Yes, Greg Williams is coach. He coached against the Bills this year. Greg Williams is the defensive coordinator for.
That team.
Yes, he is.
That team.
And they beat the Bills. Who did the Bills lose to? Not New England. Not
The
Philly.
Eagles?
They played no.
Cleveland? Yesterday? The
No,
Bills are 6-3
is it
right
the
now.
Giants?
There's only 3 teams they've lost to.
No.
Defensive
the
coordinator for the
Giants.
Jets.
The Giants, right?
The
Oh.
Jets. So they didn't lose.
Oh
to
yeah, 'cause he's right because he was talking shit about Beckham,
Yeah.
and then Beckham roasted him. Great. Darnold thinks the team's going to win out and make the playoffs. Did you see that quote yesterday?
I mean, he
Legendary.
said that they could still make the playoffs.
What he said it like he believes it. All right, Sabres go to Sweden. All right, let's just go to the
And they
Sabres.
take a dump.
This team. All right, we call it Buffalo Sabres family vacation, Sweden.
It's family vacation.
I want to take like a Jersey Shore logo and just put the Sabres logo over the Jersey Shore part. Like, 'cause this team does not do good on big roadies. They always lay up ducks in Florida. They always lay up ducks in California, and they would go to Sweden. How do you go that far and just stink that bad?
Except they did decently in California this year. They took 4 out of 6 points.
And they got roasted by the Ducks.
Well, yeah, but they bounced back from that.
That was their bounce
But
back
the
against LA.
thing is, that bounce back has not been there recently.
No.
Oh yeah, they've lost 5 in a row now. This is where, they have to stop the bleeding and figure it out. And they play Carolina on Thursday, who just scored 8 goals tonight.
I feel like they're just a very mentally weak team still.
I think that's right.
They don't deal with adversity well at all.
It's like they hit their quota of dealing with adversity after
And-
the Anaheim game.
I hate to say it,
After
but
that hit on Olofsson.
that's a leadership thing. I feel like, and I feel like they got Josh Allen, not Josh Allen, a year ago, but Josh Allen.
Josh
Jack
Allen
Eichel,
is the Sabres' problem.
Jack Eichel is starting to play Josh Allen hero ball. I watched it. He's trying to carry the puck and do everything all by himself, turning it over. I'm seeing like him trying to dangle through neutral zone. Sam Reinhart sitting up on a wing. Olofsson sitting up on a wing. And this guy's dangling through everybody, turning it over.
Yeah.
If he's gonna keep doing that, take Reinhardt off of his line.
Pierre was complimenting him. Not many guys in the NHL can skate from their own end to the other end. I'm like, yeah, and then turn it over. Like
Pierre also said that Ristolainen played the entire last year on his offhand, which is also very false.
False.
That guy's a goddamn idiot.
He coached in the NHL. Let's be clear. That guy was a coach in the
so
NHL.
did Don Cherry.
For who?
I don't
Pierre
know.
Maguire was a coach
I
in the
believe so.
NHL. Holy
I believe so.
shit.
Yeah, apparently, he was also once in the running for the Sabres GM job years ago.
Holy cow.
I heard that somewhere recently. But what do these guys do? What's going on? Like, there's got to be a serious mix-up with the lines. Just got to figure something. You got to put Skinner back with Jack. I think there's a point where there are a few times when Sam was on the ice with Johansson and they really clicked. They looked real good together. I think you put Sam on the line with Johansson. You got to do something. You got to get Olofsson away from Jack. I just think Olofsson needs to be away from the top defenders.
We're at a point where the top line's the only line scoring. It has been like 350 minutes. I'm not kidding. Since someone other than the top line, Jack Olofsson. I know Olofsson wasn't on the top line, but they haven't gotten scoring from someone other than their top three
So
top guys
you
in
have guys that have been
5 games.
invisible. I mean,
When's the last time Sherry scored?
that's the first
VC
name I was
hasn't
thinking
scored.
of.
When's the last time Middlestat scored? When's the last time the Okposo, Larson, Jurgensen's line scored? It's not there.
Been a few games.
Johansson hasn't scored.
VC has been invisible.
VC hasn't scored yet.
He had one decent game. I don't know what you do with the guy. They got to figure. They
It's a
got
1 year deal, isn't it? VC's deal is 1 year.
He's on his last year.
talk about these
He's on
games.
the, he's a UFA after this year. Yes.
I don't. Like, I'm gonna be the guy.
At this point, I'd let him walk.
I don't want to be the guy. I hate to be the guy that's like, I don't like this, but I hate talking about the refs. But those refs were so bad. That hit on Sabaka should have been a penalty. And then minutes later, the Sabres take a weak call, and Tampa goes up. And then the next day, that little body check, little shove on Stamkos in front. Where's it gets a penalty for that interference?
Which is interference.
He barely touched him.
If you want to go to the letter of the law, that's interference and whatever. But then you have to call it because then what happens?
Stamkos came in and he's kind of threw a little shoulder. He didn't knock him down. Barely even nudged the guy. Later on in the game, Middlestat nowhere near the puck. Puck doesn't go to him. The goalie has the puck covered. Defender comes in and just blows him up.
Put him on his
Like
wallet.
absolutely blew him up. Hit his head on the ice. But it's like there was no call. The refs were. I'm not saying this is why the Sabres lost. They didn't play good, but the refs are just bad. Like when it was just all. How could you imagine? I had a few friends that went over there to watch those games. How pissed would you be? You went that far, spent that money to watch them play that hockey.
I didn't want to watch it on TV. A Saturday when I turned the game off when it was 5-2, I turned it off.
It was boring.
I was mad because they just didn't show up. Like I on Twitter on Saturday, I'm like, I'm feeling good. They're going to bounce back. I'll be positive. If they get 2 points today, get back on the winning track, I'm good with it. They laid an egg. They did not play well at all. It's Curtis McElhinney in there, right? Like just pepper that dude, and they did not because how many opportunities? I know shots go wide in the NHL all the time. They do. It's a reality. They're sniping the glass like it's their job, or they're going for the extra pass. And I'm just tired of it. Like, and it's not just me. I see prominent hockey writers saying hit the net. Like, even if you don't score, put it in the goalie's chest protector. Like, don't rip it wide because there's no rebound off of that. Rarely. You got to hit the net. Like, I'm just tired of a beautiful chance in the slot. Brandon Montour stepped into a clapper from the faceoff circle. That thing went high and wide by 3 feet in each direction. Hit the net.
I don't know if it was you or Jeff, but remember doing UB games, one of the things that one of you noticed? Putting shots low, trying to get rebounds. Why is that not a strategy more employed by the Sabres?
They're choosing to not even hit the net. Forget high or low. They're going into the corner. It's just absurd.
Cause things, just cause crazy bounces. Shoot it into traffic. Cause chaos.
The power play's stagnant.
It was nice to see him getting Olofsson shooting again, though.
Yeah.
Olofsson was that one part. A few power plays out there just ripping every chance he had.
How many times is Eichel trying to go all the way across the ice, though, on the power play?
He's looking for Olofsson.
Gotta shoot it. Like, It's not there. You know what's happening a lot of the time? Skinner in front of the net thinks the pass is for him, and Olofsson thinks the pass is for him, and then neither one of them comes up with it because they're both afraid to touch it. And
Jack keeps looking for the pass like diagonally up to Olofsson, and it rarely gets there. And when it does get there, it's not on target.
Nope. I'd rather Jack shoot it and get a rebound out front.
Why isn't Jack shooting it?
He should be.
They got both these weapons.
He's probably a better shooter than Olofsson. Just rip it.
Jack just isn't shooting the puck. It's not like by design. The dude's just not shooting it.
I mean, and he's producing.
And he came into the year
he is scoring.
He came into the year. His quote is saying he's going to. He spent the entire summer working on the shot. He's going to shoot the puck a lot more this year.
They outshot Tampa heavily on Friday, did they not?
Yeah, but it wasn't
they
much.
outshot him pretty well.
A lot from the outside.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of great shots.
I'm just
quote unquote high danger. I got an issue with high danger shots, by the way. I don't like the way they're laid out.
Hashtag analytics with Justin.
I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, now this would be a good episode to get into it.
Well, they got the high danger. Obviously, it's right around the crease, and it's kind of almost into the low slot, and then medium danger is the slot. I feel like the highest danger shots are not at the crease where they have this. It's in the slot, in the high slot. Those are the high danger shots. That's a spot that's hard to get.
Yeah, where they have the whole net
and
to
if
shoot
you get
at.
a clear shot, goalie's not making a save. And if it does, it's a spectacular save. A lot of those goals in the high danger area are tap-ins.
Yep. Sidney Crosby
One-timers,
shovel them in.
Tap-ins, rebounds.
Deflections.
Yeah. As a small issue with the high danger shot thing.
Reinhardt's playing like his hair's on fire. Played great in Sweden. That deflection goal was sick. He came to play. Jack's playing fine. Don't hear us say that Jack's the problem, because he's not. He's just trying to do too much because he's looking around him like, well, somebody's got to do something. And Dahlin's playing a little scared, a little skittish, I think. Like he doesn't look as confident with the puck on his stick for whatever reason. And it's crazy how the wheels have come off. Like, I'm certainly not mailing in the season. Last year I was like, you were giving me shit about them finishing him 4-78, and it turns out that wasn't too far off. But I don't feel that way. I'm not pulling the chute. They've played better teams too. You know what I mean? Like when they've played teams that they should beat, they seem to be beating them. Arizona just beat Washington tonight in Washington. Arizona's a good team. Tampa Bay's a really talented team. So now you have Carolina, who hopefully you can play well against, and then get back on track Saturday against Ottawa, get a couple points here. By no means am I mailing in the season by any stretch, but just crazy how the wheels have come off like this.
They're still just a point out of a playoff spot. I mean,
we're still just a point. They were first in the league.
We're 17 games in. We're talking about, but yeah, they're first in the league, and now they're a point out of a playoff spot.
It's bananas how that happened in 2 weeks' time with only 3 games played.
2 years in a row. Like,
yep.
What is it? It's the Bills too. They're amidst doing the same thing at the moment.
It's really fun when they're all winning. They didn't need to all start losing at the same time too, but here we are.
Here we are. So the Bills are 6-3. Sabres are a point of a playoff spot. They're just, I don't know.
So with the fact that the Bills were 6-2 and the Sabres were the top team in the NHL record-wise, right now it looks there is a realistic possibility that both miss the playoffs. Which one of these two teams is more disappointing that they miss?
The Bills. The Bills, because they have such an easy schedule.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that. Yep. That's for sure.
The Bills only need to win the games that they're quote-unquote supposed to win. Like beat Miami, beat the Jets again, beat the Broncos, and you might be in. Because all the other teams in the AFC are beating each other up. Right?
Yeah. Right.
So if you finish 9-7, not saying you're guaranteed to get in, but you might.
You should have a chance, yeah. And the fact
you have tiebreakers against teams
and the fact is, early in week 4, they stood in toe-to-toe with New England.
Yeah.
But they've regressed since then, too.
But I think they're just a good matchup against New England. I think McDermott has New England's number, just like Rex used to, but it doesn't mean you're going to beat them. It just means the Monday night game last year, they played them tough. It was a 16-point game or whatever, but the last play was a pick 6 for New England. It was a close game. They just couldn't score, but I don't know.
But yeah, and we were also talking before the season. The reason I'm more disappointed in the Bills than the Sabres is one of the things we were talking about before the Sabres season started is we thought that there was a possibility that they could be the 6th team in the Atlantic Division, just based on the teams that could end up ahead of them. So basically starting this season off with a realistic expectation of they might not make it kind of tempers that
Yeah.
disappointment down a little bit from the start of the season being 9-2-2 at one point.
We're all also conditioned from last year to be more careful with our emotions. You know, it's hopefully we're less surprised about the Sabres struggles because
I think we were talking about it last week. About how we are toward these teams right now. We're just very cautiously optimistic. We're afraid to get hurt. You know, it's like Sabres last year. Amazing. First place, 10-game win streak.
It's like a rebound relationship sometimes.
Exactly. It just says you don't want to, you got to be tentative. Like,
Except we're rebounding with the same teams every year.
Sure, I'm excited. I'm happy with both the 6-3. It's great that they were playing amazing inside the year, and it was fun to watch. But you can't get fully into it. You're just waiting for the collapse and the hurt, the heartbreak. It's your team. It stinks.
I just wish that we could understand what it feels like to just know that you're going to the playoffs and have to worry about like if you have the first round bye or not.
Just the excitement around the playoffs. You know how pumped I was watching that game 2 years ago? I was just so excited. I was looking forward to I haven't been like that for a football game in years. Like I was so excited to watch that one game.
They scored 3 points, by the way.
I try to remember. I try to remember what it was like for this when Sabres were in the playoffs. Like I can't. That feeling was so good. Like it's all I thought about in the playoffs was the next game. The next game was like a drug. I can't miss it. What's with this? The Sabres rebuild. They've been rebuilding this team for what 6-7 years now, 8.
It's been 84 years.
You know, I'm not a huge fan. Like, Botterill made great trade for Skinner. Who else? Johansson's a good pickup.
Colin Miller looks good.
Locked into Dahlin.
Yeah, Colin Miller looks good.
It's like I'm not a huge fan of the way he's building the team though. Like at least Tim Murray went for it. I don't hate the trades Tim Murray made.
Yeah.
In hindsight,
They didn't work.
Correct.
But at the time, they looked better than they ended up being.
and Ryan O'Reilly wasn't a bad player.
Nope. Great
It
player.
wasn't a good team.
I think he's actually pretty good. I think he may or may not have won 1 or 2 trophies last year.
Maybe a couple.
I mean,
Evander Kane was not a bad player.
correct. Yeah, you're right.
But you're not taking that contract from that guy.
The problem was he drained the system to do it, and that now set up Botterill to try to rebuild the system, and that's why.
And I don't think Kane was a thing. We're not keeping this guy because he's not good. Is like we don't want to pay this guy
because he borrows money and doesn't pay it back.
Yeah,
just ask the casinos.
So I think that was like, but I think at least Murray wait for it. And
if you look at the players that the Sabres have let go to other teams and how they're doing with these other teams, you've got a stacked team.
Do you want to enlighten everyone on our conversation last night, Justin?
What was it?
You even retweeted the goal.
Oh, yeah.
I texted you at like 11 o'clock last night. I mean, I always text him at 11 o'clock last night. It's usually a super sexy goodnight text, but
go ahead.
You can, what were you doing? Never mind. Don't answer that question. But I'm like, are we still allowed to be mad about the Hodgson for Cashin trade 1-on-1? Mike, how close, do you know anything about Zach Cashin's playing career? You know where he is right now?
He is in Edmonton.
Yes. Playing with whom?
McDavid.
That's right.
Draisaitl.
And guess what he's doing?
Well, he scored last night.
Producing. You remember the playoffs 2 years ago or 3 years ago when the Oilers went and they were shocking the world with how well they played? He was scoring in the playoffs. He's a good player. Now, I realize you could put a Moose on the wing with McDavid and they might produce, but the guy is having a career. And I said to Justin, I think that Cody Hodgson's working at a Waffle House somewhere. Like, he's just, what are we, Cashin, I loved him when he played in Buffalo, when he came to Buffalo, because he was kind of the true power forward. I was at the game where he scored his first goal against Washington. It was really cool. But he was a guy that I always wanted to succeed in Buffalo because I liked him and I liked his kind of gritty play style. But since he's left Buffalo, he's had a decent career for a guy that, I don't know.
There are a few players on this current team that I would take Zach Cashin over in a second.
A few.
Sabaka.
I think I could name 6.
Gergensons. VZ.
Because he's played top 6 a lot. What are some of his numbers? No, nothing huge, but I would 15 goals last year.
I would love to see some Cashin on the line with Larson and Poster. I think he'd be a little more effective offensively. I mean, the dude has a lot of offensive skill. He doesn't pot goals. He's only put in 15 goals at McDavid, but he still has he has such good hands.
Well, he played in 14 in 2013, 2014.
Everyone hates the snarl and grit, but that's kind of what the Sabres.
That's what the Sabres lack right now.
Yep. He can lower his shoulder and lean in on somebody and bring the puck deep. And
after the hit on Sabaka, Cashin's going to be on the ice next time Kucherov's on the ice, and Kucherov's going to have his head on a swivel.
But Cashin's not just a lug nut out there. Like, he can skate, he can play. I mean, I understand that anybody could play with McDavid and produce, but you have to be able to play with McDavid to play with McDavid, if that makes sense.
He's fast. He's
you have to be able to be out there.
He keeps up with
you have to be able to hold.
No, keep up with McDavid.
Well, yeah, but it's even like when we had Pominville on the top line with Eichel and Reinhardt last year. He found chemistry with them because he could bury. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate kind of luck with Hodgson, because he had like some kind of degenerative muscle thing, but
he had a degenerative skating thing.
He didn't get that.
Sucked.
He didn't deal with that until he hit Nashville, which is kind of why he retired.
He sucked,
but he was not very good in Buffalo. I probably put up more points than Cashin did, though.
I don't want to talk about it because he sucked. We're looking it up right now.
But yeah, if you didn't,
you had it DGSON.
But if you didn't, but if you were able to keep Kane and keep Cashin, and who else are we keeping in this?
Not really.
Yeah, not sucked.
Really. Never mind.
And he doesn't bring any of the grit, and I hate that word. He didn't bring any of the grit that Zach does. So I don't know.
Who else out of the players that the Sabres gave up would you like to see back?
JT Compher.
Yeah, JT Compher.
Yeah, he's in Denver
Colorado
right now, isn't he? Yep.
Not really Brandon Lemieux. Don't care enough about that. He really is muddled around.
Oh, who was the defenseman with Vegas that
McNabb, but not
Brayden McNabb. He's okay. Tyler Myers is having a nice little region.
I wouldn't mind Zadorov back.
Yeah, he's hurt right now. He got jacked up. He took a puck in the face. Dunzo for a while.
Is he?
Yeah, it was nasty.
I wouldn't mind Zadorov back. I think he's better than.
Yeah, when they drafted Zadorov and Ristolainen, you thought that was going to be your duo for years to come, and you got to give to get, though. You had to give up some stuff to get O'Reilly to come.
I think the biggest piece we lost in the whole thing was probably Compher. How much did Murray really give away?
Yeah.
Lemieux's
Brendan Lemieux's playing at the Rangers right now.
Yeah.
Armia went to Winnipeg as part of the Evander Kane trade.
Yeah.
Armia is still playing for Winnipeg.
Yeah.
No, Armia is playing for
somewhere.
Montreal.
He scored against us.
Joel Armia plays for Montreal now. But, I mean, these are all guys that are like plug and play second line wingers, kind of, like a Jimmy Vesey or a Connor Sheary. But Zadorov would be good. He's big, mean, and plays good defense. But, if you have like 3 or 4 people you can cycle in on your top line, you need these good second line players to put in there. I mean, right now you can legitimately put on your first line. You would have Eichel, Skinner, Olofsson, and Reinhardt. You can pick any three of those among the 4 and put them and have a quality first line. Do you think they turn it around? I don't mean go back to winning 9 out of 11 games,
but a realistic turnaround.
Do they figure it out and stop?
Get 5 out of 8 points.
Sure.
I think they're going through a lull right now because they're playing a weird schedule.
Sure.
They played a lot.
Now they play like 11 and 17 or something again. It's
right.
just banana. Sorry.
Yeah, that's one thing I believe that was the first game they played. Who was it against Washington? Where I was like, maybe having a week off really isn't such a great thing.
Yeah.
But it looks like after their break, they come back, next Friday? This Friday?
Thursday, Saturday. Carolina, Ottawa.
Okay, so let's see how they respond Thursday and Saturday and move forward from there.
What do you think, Justin? They find a way to...
I think they do. I think it's a lull. They played all these games, a week off, and they come against a great Capitals team. And they didn't play bad against the Islanders.
No.
They just couldn't put the puck in that. They just were sniped at that game. They played a good game. And that goal that Islanders scored was a real garbage goal.
Yeah.
And then another week off, and they traveled to Sweden, which lots of distractions for those guys. Half the team was Sweden, so they're distracted. They didn't play well. I think Johansson played out of his mind both those games.
Yeah, Rhino and Mojo played well.
I think they should be in a line together after that. But another week off, and they're coming back against the Carolina team who just scored 8 goals the other day. could be tough. I think
Today.
I think they turned it around. I don't think it's that bad. They just looked really bad in Sweden. But you have to remember, Tampa's struggling, but still a great team.
Yep.
They're still
Tampa is still Tampa.
Yeah, they
feels
still
like
have,
feels like the Eagles, right? With the Bills.
Yeah.
The Eagles had a bad record, but we know they're a super talented team. Same thing with the Browns. They know they have a bad. Jarvis Landry caught 9 balls for 97 yards. It's good. Like I don't know.
So I'm not too worried. I do think the roster needs work still. They can maximize what they have, but I think they need to make some kind of a move, get some vigor going in the room again. I don't know, but there's a rumor. Jeremy White started because his source has been on fire lately. But the rumor is a Western player. Who knows?
Not a sheriff, just to be clear. Not a howdy y'all Western player.
I think the player in everyone's mind here is TT.
Tyler Toffoli. I also heard Raquel.
I don't know much about him. That'd be a Mike deal.
Raquel's good.
Yeah.
He just got paid, didn't he? Like 5 years, $30 million.
I think so, yeah.
Because he's a good player.
I'd be surprised unless Anaheim's finally going to commit to full rebuilds. I don't see them giving him up.
It feels like he would be a guy that would be going forward. You
would think that he would be the guy that he would be centering. That would be the centerpiece of that rebuild in Anaheim.
He has 11 points in 18 games this year, 43 points in 69 games last year, 69 points nice in 77 games in 2018. I don't know.
What do you think? They turn it around?
I don't think they make the playoffs, but I don't think that they sink to the bottom of the league.
I think they can make the
year.
playoffs. I don't think they're a bad team.
They're not a bad team, but there's a lot of good teams in the division.
I think
if they don't make it, it's a numbers thing. It's just too many good teams and not enough playoff spots for them.
I think they're in a real learning phase right now. I think this is where Kruger is really learning what he's got in his roster. The lines he had start season were effective to start. They kind of went stale. I think you'll see some shuffling. I think after this road trip, I think you'll see some shuffling. I'm pretty sure he's probably beating the crap out of him in practice. He was not happy. He was not happy at the bench. I think it's going to be a tough week of practice, and he's going to whip those guys. Those guys respect him, and I think he's going to whip them into shape, and they're going to get the message. I think they're good enough to make the playoffs. I think they have enough to squeak in.
I'd feel better if they were still in a playoff spot because their record is not bad, and they are not in a playoff spot right now.
They're a point out. They're a point out, and they're 4 points out of first.
You know what?
In the Atlantic.
If just thinking from my point of view, with how much they seem to respect Kruger, do you know what would be worse than having Kruger mad at you? Having him disappointed in you.
It doesn't feel good. Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
I mean, when you respect somebody and when you respect your coach and you're disappointing them, that is like the biggest blow to you ever. That it's like you've got to fix what's going on and get back to on the in his good graces. So I think that it wouldn't be that Kruger's mad or anything. It is he will. So however he does it, will let them know his disappointment and how the team needs to step it up because they're basically letting not only him but themselves down by not playing well as of late.
He's not afraid to tell a player what he thinks about them. Before the season started, training camp, Posta was an interview saying how he wasn't gentle. He went to a respected veteran like Kyle Posta and just gave him the welfare, told him what's up, you know. And also the same to Sam Reinhart. Sam Reinhart said, like, yeah, we had a talk. But I'm not too worried. You get to really remember that Tampa, while struggling, is still Tampa. They're still a very good team. Victor Hedman, Steven Stamkos, Kucherov, Braden Point, and
Sergachev.
Yeah, they have good players all around. Even their bottom line. It's a tough line.
Yanni Gord on their bottom line.
Maroon is a tough player to play against.
Just
Yanni Gord on the bottom line. It's a well-balanced fourth line.
You know, Maroon is a guy who's actually made a decently long career for himself by just being that power grit forward that can
Played in
move up.
Edmonton.
It's almost like
He-
teams
he
need
was,
these guys.
He also played in Anaheim, and I believe he was the third player on the Perry Getzlaff line in 2006, 2007.
He was also playing that kind of role with the top line player, Tom Wilson.
Yep. I like Tom Wilson. Come at me. I don't care.
Listen, today's hockey, you're not allowed to
No.
jam and grit,
Nope.
sandpaper. The word compete is banned.
Right.
You need at least one of those players per roster.
Pat
Maybe
Maroon.
a couple more.
Pat Maroon won the cup with the Blues last year on a 1-year, $1 million deal. No one wanted him. He signs this 1-year how do you do deal for not a lot of money. Obviously more money than we'll see at our jobs, but just in what does he do? But I mean, he was part of that cup run too, for sure. He was definitely a factor, but I don't know. I mean, it does feel like the roster needs a shakeup, whether that's changing lines or bringing up some guys or it's a trade. I don't know. They haven't really been using all three of their scratches, right? They really haven't been using those spots. So what's stopping them from scratching, a Sherry or a VC and bringing up, I mean, not that Asplin's played, bringing up Tage.
Tage is doing work down there.
Yeah, what's stopping them from bringing up
doing
Tage?
That guy, and the thing is, what this team is lacking scoring right now, and Tage has a rocket, a cannon, and he doesn't miss the net like these guys.
No.
Tage can score from anywhere on the ice. Say what you will about Tage Thompson. I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a stud in this
I
league.
think he's going to be good.
6'5", he can move for a guy that's 6'5". he
Skates
can
very well.
Skates very agile.
Good with his stick to turn
Hands.
pucks over, too.
Hands for days.
Very-
I went to the development thing with Darlene was at Harbor Center for the first time.
Me too. He had like 3 turnovers in that one game against Pittsburgh and didn't
Tage
score on
was
any of them. But
insane.
he was so good.
The amount he's 6'5", but he makes so much room for himself with his hands, his stick handling ability. He's young. Everyone wants people to come in and leave and not be Mitch Marner and
You mean
Nylander
like
right
Josh
away.
Allen?
Just get these guys some time to develop into themselves and find their identity in the league. That's what. I know. What I liked about Tage is that he screwed up playing his own game. He figured out that what he's doing, what he did his whole career, isn't going to work in the NHL. You can't be toe drag Tage.
Yeah,
But
especially at 6'5", there's an expectation for you to park your ass in front of the net once in a while.
be a big body.
You have to,
And then you're a 20-year-old kid, 6'5", expected to be a physical force.
and you're not.
You're still 20 years old, coming to the league full of men. You're still pretty timid.
There's guys that are 6 foot that will rock you. Like your 5
Yeah.
inches don't
And
mean shit in the
I
NHL.
think old muscle. I keep saying muscle. Old muscle is much stronger than young, strong muscle. If that makes any sense.
No, I get it.
But
Old Muscle also knows how to
Fuck.
get out there and root somebody out of the way.
Yep.
we had a chicken bet last week
Yeah.
about shake and bake chicken. Bill couldn't make it today. Steve
To be clear, he could have made the chicken. We don't know. He couldn't make it to the podcast.
He could have made
today.
the chicken.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why he
I was thinking that.
didn't come. Maybe
Cold feet.
Maybe a chicken accident. Maybe
Yeah, or he tasted it and was like, you know what, this isn't very good. Can't show up with this below average chicken.
could be because no matter what chicken Bill came with, if he was going straight shake and bake, wasn't gonna beat Steve's chicken.
Nope.
That chicken was pretty good,
I don't know what to say.
and he made it at work.
Yeah, made it at work, brought it here, baked it in your oven because I wanted it to be somewhat fresh. I didn't want to make it at 4
I
o'clock
know.
today and then bring it in. That wouldn't have cut it.
I know what to say.
Huh.
Bill loses by default.
Well, obviously, Mike. Come on.
You didn't need to say by default, but you had to say Bill loses.
I think Bill would have lost if he was here with chicken.
What was
Yeah.
our last bet?
Something about the Bills.
The
and
Bills would not cover the 17-point spread against the Dolphins. They did not.
He didn't.
I'm 2-0. Bill you can call the next bet, Bill. Maybe it'll be one that you can win. 2-0.
Trying to picture what Bill's thinking right now. Imagine what Bill's thinking right now.
We could have sent out a picture of the chicken, but it's gone. We ate all of it.
We ate it.
All of it.
Gonna get the recipe in the air. You're gonna keep it yourself.
So instead of using shake and bake, I do take a gallon-sized bag. It's essentially make your own shake and bake. And a pinch of granulated garlic, however much. I like a lot of garlic, so I used a little bit more, but not a lot. Half a cup of Parmesan cheese. I usually grate it myself because the stuff you buy in the plastic can is not very good. And 1 packet of Italian dressing mix. And then you take that in the bag and shake it all up in the bag, and then you shake the chicken in it. I wet the chicken first so that the coating sticks. $4.25 8 minutes, flip it over, 8 minutes. This is with chicken breast tenders. If you do it with the whole chicken breast, that's raw chicken, so don't do that. But chicken breast tenders, 16 minutes in the oven. Justin was fascinated that it only took 16 minutes. He thought it was going to have to cook longer.
I was.
But yeah. Any other recipes you guys want me to provide, you just let me know. Cooking with Steve.
Steve's Cooking Corner.
Steve's Cooking Corner.
Hell yeah. We're going to have Steve cooks food every week and Mike's going to taste it.
What's next?
I don't know.
Don't tell me because you know I'll do it. I don't not come through when I say.
I forgot about the chicken. I
You
was
did?
sitting here watching TV
I was like,
with the wife.
preheat your oven to 425, and Justin was like, "Oh, I forgot we were doing this."
Totally forgot about it.
Anyways,
And I didn't use any emojis.
no,
Not a single laugh emoji.
I probably used enough for both of us today.
All right. You guys, bandits are firing up, huh?
Training camp this past weekend, some changes behind the bench. Rich Kilgore's contract was not renewed, so now you have John Tavares as the head coach with Steve Dietrich Chugger, the general manager, as the defensive coach behind him. Rusty Kruger stays on the coaching staff too, I believe. I hope I didn't just say that wrong, but I believe Kruger's back. So yeah, they're going to have their open practice on November 30th at 10 a.m. from 10 to noon down at the arena. Go check that out, and the season starts in just a few weeks here. The Bandits, I believe, kick off their season December 7th at home to the San Diego Seals. So have that on your radar because we're almost ready to rock and roll. Buttes on the road this upcoming weekend. Back-to-back games at Boston and at Connecticut before coming home next weekend. I'm sure we'll talk to someone from the Buttes on Monday about the weekend that was and the games that are to come. So follow us on Twitter at 716sport podcast, singular 716 Sport Podcast. On Facebook, 716 Sports Podcast. However you found us, we appreciate you listening, whether that was on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, however you might have found us. We appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate you guys putting up with all of our bullshit about sports. So until next time, we'll catch you guys later.